Hello and welcome or welcome back to A Better Choice Homestead. My name is Kelly. On my channel, I focus on food, growing it, preparing it, and preserving it. On Sundays, I do a gardening or food preservation video. On Tuesdays, I do a cook with me video. On Tuesdays, the videos are super simple and healthy, nutritious meals that anybody can make. So if you're new in the kitchen or you're looking to expand on your culinary skills, go ahead and check out my Tasty Tuesday playlist. And on Fridays, I do a freeze dry video, and today is Friday, so welcome to Freeze Dry Friday. Behind me, you can see some jars that I had canned up. I had done some strawberry lemonade concentrate in a canning recipe that I posted last Sunday, I believe. And when I went to the farm to pick up all of the amazing, luscious berries, I got a full flat, or 8 quarts. I barely used half of it to do 9 jars of the strawberry lemonade. And I even had enough of that strawberry lemonade to pour onto one of the freeze dryer trays. So I'm only going to be doing 3 trays because I'm going to pull that strawberry lemonade into this freeze dry batch. All I'm going to do with these, they've been washed and hulled. So they've had the tops cut off of them and they have been washed. And these are at peak ripeness. So we are going to be locking in all the flavor and all the nutrition found in strawberries when they are best for eating. So this is going to be really, really quick and simple. I am going to put some strawberries in my Vitamix blender. You can use a regular blender, of course. You can use a food processor, of course. I have a Vitamix. That was my gift to myself last year for the holidays. Since I do spend a ton of time in the kitchen doing different types of food preservation and different types of cooking, I gave myself a treat. And what I like about this machine is that it really pulverizes things down to a full liquid form. So all these strawberry seeds are just going to melt away into the strawberry puree. Now, my goal with this, the reason I am liquefying this is because I want a powder product. I want to be able to use this in kombucha. I want to be able to use this in drinks. I want to be able to use this in a vinaigrette, a strawberry vinaigrette. I want the versatility that powdered will bring to me. I have a lot of strawberries freeze-dried in sliced form. So today I am going for powder, and that's going to complement the series that I've been doing for my kombucha brews. I've done ginger, I've done whole limes, and I have done peaches. So now we're moving on to strawberries. All right, I've got this about halfway full, and I'm going to stick with that just to make sure it has plenty of room to cycle through the machine, and I'm just going to get that turned on to high. There we go. And I'm just going to get that poured onto a tray. It's not easy to move trays when you have them filled with liquid. So I'm not going to be going all the way up to the top, and I am going to be putting a lid on this. And I am going to be pre-freezing these, so we're not freeze drying them today. We're going to start freeze drying them tomorrow or the next day when the beets that I have in the freeze dryer, the sliced beets, are done. Because that didn't even fill half a tray. So let's keep going. Again, this is 4 quarts of strawberries in here. You could add this also to smoothies, to yogurt, to baked goods, a strawberry powder into baked goods. Oh, you could add it to pancake batter. You can add it as a sprinkle on top of waffles instead of powdered sugar. So versatile. That's why I'm super excited to have this in powdered form. All right, let's see what we've got. All right, that's about as full as I want it, so I don't spill it when I move it. I am going to get one of these tray toppers on and get this moved out of the way, and we'll start on another tray. There's not much left in the bowl, but I don't want to overload the machine either. So we're stopping there. This smells like summer. Oh, it smells delicious. Let me move this over with the stack. Lemonade on the bottom, pureed strawberries on the top. Last tray and last bit of strawberries. That's going to work out beautifully. There's a lot of water in this bowl in the bottom, so I don't want to dump that in there. Here we go. Strawberries are loaded with vitamin C, and vitamin C helps boost your immune system. It also helps to promote collagen production in your body, and it keeps your skin healthy. Strawberries are red, and they get the red color from anthocyanins, and those are antioxidants that help fight inflammation in your body as well as chronic disease of the heart. Strawberries also help lower your LDL, so they also protect your heart in that way. They are loaded with fiber, which helps your body with overall digestion, and they are low on the glycemic index, so while they do contain sugar, they don't spike your blood sugar levels. Strawberries are absolutely delicious, and when in season, they are hard to resist, but they're not always in season. So by freeze drying these in their raw, original, organic form, I am loading up on probably a year's worth of vitamin C, the antioxidant anthocyanins, as well as heart protecting organisms in the food that I am eating. All right, so not quite a full tray here, but I will take it. That is about half a tray from a depth perspective. All right, I am going to go ahead and get these trays into the freezer, and I will meet you back here tomorrow or the next day when the freeze dryer is empty and we can get these put in. Again, I cannot tell you how excited I am for this end product. It's been 48 hours and the strawberry purees and the strawberry lemonade are ready to go into the freeze dryer. Strawberry puree is fully frozen. This is the one that didn't quite fill the trays. Put that one on top. And you can see from the rim here that, carrying this in wet form causes some spillage. I didn't actually spill because I had the lid on, but you can see how challenging it is to get liquids transferred in these trays. But now that they're frozen, it's a breeze. All right, those are the pureed strawberries. And the bottom one is the strawberry lemonade concentrate that I didn't can. right, just need to close the door, close the drain valve. And then press continue. These are already frozen, so the freeze cycle won't take too long on these. Then it's going to go into a sublimate phase where it extracts all of the liquid and traps it against the inside drum in the form of clear ice. So it's just extracting the water. Then it's going to go into a dry phase, and then it's going to go into an extended dry phase. I have mine set for 9 hours extended dry time. I think that'll be enough because this is liquid, but we shall see. I will be powdering this down so I will know for sure that this is absolutely dry before I package it up. I'll bring you back as soon as we're ready. Good morning, and it has been actually just under 46 hours. These trays, they ended yesterday about 15 hours ago, but I added a whole bunch more time for 2 reasons. One, because it was a tough day and I just didn't have the bandwidth to deal with this right now. And 2, because if you can see right here, the strawberry lemonade concentrate that I put on these trays had so much sugar in it. If you saw me make that on video, there was so much sugar in it that it is puffed up like candy. Take a look at the difference. So we have 3 trays of strawberry puree and 1 tray of the strawberry lemonade concentrate loaded with sugar. And as you can see, it puffed up just like candy. So that's going to be interesting to get out of the freeze dryer, and I did not want to have to deal with that yesterday. So I just added more time. If you're new to freeze drying, you can do that. You can add time, you can reduce time once you're into the final dry phase. So this still says that it has 1 hour and 8 minutes left on it, but it's been almost 46 hours. So all I'm going to do is hit the down arrow until it zeroes out. And now there's a little pulse that is telling me that it is done in time to check. So we are going to check this. I'm not going to guarantee that this is done, especially based on the sugar content, but I'm going to go ahead and open the drain valve. We'll open this up and we will see if it's ready. All right, now that it's been depressurized, I can get this open, and we're going to start with the easy trays. I feel like this one is up against the top and it's going to be a little problematic. This looks great. Feels dry, but we'll know when we go to powder it down. Same with this one. It's also very, very light. Those are just pureed strawberries. Yeah, this one is good and stuck. I think I'm going to have to get a long spatula and just kind of cut the top off of this so that it releases from the heating plate up here, and then I'll be able to pull the tray out. All right, I've got a very long knife here. This is one of my Kamikoto Japanese knives. I'm sure that's not how you pronounce it. They're incredibly sharp. I'm just not very good at using it because it has a different type of an angle on it that I'm not used to. So I don't use these very often, but this is my longest blade, so that's what I'm going for. And again, I'm just going to cut through the top here to release it. If I can, I can't get all the way back there, but maybe I can get enough leverage to get it going. I got it a little bit. Just need to release a little more. Oh, almost. I think I almost got to the back. Almost. Let's try that. Oh, here we go. We got it. And I'll have to clean in there, but it's not too bad. Just a little fuzz left on top. So let's get all this into the kitchen and we'll see what we can do with this. I am Not confident that this can be powdered down, but we shall see. I can't tell you why I did not expect this to puff like this, other than I just wasn't thinking. I do have a lot on my mind this week. So I am at this point hoping that the pureed strawberries will powder down and not clump together. If it's totally dry and you powder it down, it should stay free-flowing powder inside the jar. So we'll get these powdered down. I should be, the first indicator is whether or not it will pour out of the container here easily. And it feels like it will, but you never know for sure. There could be hidden pockets of moisture. I think we got rid of all the seeds when we pureed it in the Vitamix, but seeds can deceptively hold quite a bit of moisture. If it clumps, then what I'll do is I'll pour the powdered down product back onto trays and run it through the freeze dryer again. Oh, but just not for a full freeze dry, just more dry time. That's one of the reasons why you don't want to stop your freeze dryer until you know that the food is totally dry, so you don't have to start over from the beginning again. And I want to hurry with this also, because as it sits out, it's collecting the humidity from the air, which can also create moisture on it, and that wouldn't be good either. So I am going to stop talking here in just a second and whip right through this. So just going to start with these 3 trays. I'm putting parchment paper over the top because when I powder something down in the blender, it gets all up inside the lid and it wastes a lot of the product because it just kind of sticks up there. So I'm using parchment paper, which it'll just hit the parchment paper and fall back down. It doesn't really even stick to the parchment paper. And that's not going to work either, because I'm going to have to use the tamper tool. The longer it stays in here with those blades spinning as fast as they do, it's creating extra heat, which can also cause some moisture accumulation. It heats it up and kind of melts it. So I need to get my tamper, which means I can't use the parchment paper unless maybe I can put just a hole in the parchment paper. I'm going to try that first. So let me get my tamper. All right, so I've taken the little top portion off, and I'm just going to cut in this parchment paper here. Okay, and I just cut it almost all the way around, so it's kind of folded in there. But I think now I can get this down there, and I can. All right, let's give this a go again. So you can see how much product has stuck to this tamper. And that's what sticks to the lid as well. And we did kind of make a mess because we made a hole in the parchment paper, but I think we lost less product than we would have without the parchment paper. Because I can get it off the parchment paper. It smells so good. All right, let me get my jar. All right, I've got a little spatula. It feels light and airy. But we'll see. All right, there's still a bunch in there, but I have 2 more trays to do, so I'm not worried about scraping it all off just yet. But I would like to get this tray out of here, so let me get this powder off the tray and into the jar. And I'm going to keep these dry because if these do have to run back through the freeze dryer, I'll use the same trays. So I'm just going to set them aside on the counter. And this is just a kitchen bench scraper that I'm using. It works really well to get things out of the trays. It is about perfect size against the tray. Just use the tamper to start to break it down a bit. Put my parchment paper back on. And here we go, round 2. It's definitely messy. Okay, tray 3. And then we'll take a look at the sugar tray. This was the last tray I filled, so it was only half full. So these are much thinner blocks. Should be done with this tamper, so I definitely want to make sure I get all the powder off of here. Because even just this much powder right here, I mean, that's going to be good for probably 5 or 6 drinks or a whole batch of baking. This is super, super, super concentrated in flavor because it's freeze dried. So you only need a tiny bit to use it. So I want every bit that I can get. Scrape out the inside of this lid a little bit. This lid is hard to scrape because there's a lot of nooks and crannies in here, which is why I used the parchment paper, although I had to cut a hole in it, so it didn't work. It didn't keep it clean. I want the powder that's on the parchment paper. There's quite a bit on here, top and bottom. So that's quite a bit of powder that was just, ancillary outside of the blender container. And of course, there's a ton of it on my cutting board, but I can't do anything about that. All right, so what's happening in here is some of the, I'm gonna dump it on here. Some of the very thin pieces that were at the bottom were underneath the blade, and they really didn't get blended. So I'm just gonna try to get them powdered on here. could use my mortar and pestle for this as well, but I did use that last night to powder down some of my other flavors, and I tested it this morning and it still has a little moisture on it, so I'm just going to do this. I think it's going to be fine. I was trying not to intermingle flavors last night, so I did, you know, one flavor in here and then one in the mortar and pestle, and then I had to wash both, and of course once you wash them you have to wait until they're completely dry, so I stopped and I thought, well, we'll just use the Vitamix today. Just getting that last bit up. It's messy. All right, but we got a quart of powdered down freeze-dried berry powder. I'm gonna go ahead and get a lid on this. And I'm gonna keep this on the counter for a few days to condition it and just make sure that it's, I don't know if you can see, but it is free flowing in the jar. I want to make sure that it stays free flowing. If it starts to get clumpy, there's moisture and I've got to run it back through the freeze dryer. I don't know what to do with this. I really wanted to powder this down. It is so sticky. I think it is just going to become a bald mess if I put it into the blender. So let me see. So this may not become a powder. This might become candy. This is, I don't even know if I can get, how I can get this out of the pan here. Okay, it's coming. Well, here's a little piece. It's just a very thin top layer. And it's candy. Totally candy. Wow. Homemade candy. It is incredibly, I'm not a candy person. It's got the freshness of farm fresh picked strawberries. It's got the tartness of the lemon, and it's sweet. Almost like a strawberry lemon head. It's delicious. So I think what I'm going to do with this is try to package it up into little bite-sized pieces for the kids as you know, a candy treat. There's no way this is going to powder down, but it is really, really good. They're going to love it. Wow. Whew. Tart, but sweet at the same time. All right, so I'm going to get all of this cleaned up. I'm going to condition that for a couple of days. I'll be back here probably in 2 to 3 days. Well, it's been about 4 days since I made this, and I actually am down half a jar already. So this is definitely not going to last a year. Some of this went to my friend. If you saw my kombucha video last week, you saw that I did 12 different flavors in 12 different jars as a bar set or a baking set. So this is all I have left, but after 4 or 5 days, you can see that this is still completely free flowing in the jars. This is dry. This is going to last as long as I want it to, but I am telling you, this is not going to last very long. This is absolutely delicious. I have family in town right now. We actually used this to make some strawberry flavored Belgian waffles. They were incredible. Thank you so much for joining me again this week in my kitchen. My name is Kelly. You're at A Better Choice Homestead, and I do hope you come back and visit again soon.